Hello and welcome. In this module, we will be going through a content overview for the types of content that we host on Modern Apps Learning program. So first, let's go ahead and go to the Modern Apps homepage, which is currently at modernapps.ninja. Just a little reminder, you'll see a lot of references to modernapps.ninja, as that was the original name for the program. And we're moving away from the Ninja name. It's going to take time. So the things like the domain names and the organization's names and GitHub, you may still see a lot of mentions of modern apps .ninja in those names where they're hard and will take time to change. But wherever we can, we're changing the titles and the descriptions and text for documents to reflect the new name of Modern Apps Learning. So for the content from the homepage, we'll start off here with courses. So let's look at the types of courses that we have. And you'll find here we have some 100, 200, and 300 series courses. And there's a sort of a theme. It's not a hard and fast rule, but a general set of guidelines as to what constitutes a 100, 200, 300 level course. And starting with the Modern App Skills 101 course, we're hoping this is a course where many people can start off. As each of the other courses do have descriptions on how to do things like enroll and take tests, but we do really a little bit more thorough description of the how to register with the community, what happens when you register for the community, in terms of your member profile page, and so on, how to take a little more about how taking tests works and requesting certificates of completion. So this is a great course to get started with the community. And beyond that, and this should make you feel confident that any of the other 100 level courses, you should have the full knowledge to be able to go ahead and get through those successfully. And 100 level courses in general, aside from this initial Modern Apps Skills 101, but for, let's say, VMware Tanzu Standard 101 or vSphere Tanzu 101, the idea for these courses is to give a high level overview. Now, overall for the Modern Apps Learning program, we're a very hands-on focused, technically oriented community. And so most of the content that you see throughout most of the courses will be very technically oriented, very lab centric. However, I feel like with when you're jumping into labs, it's really good to make sure that you have a clear understanding of the big picture. It's not good to dive into low-level interfaces of a product or platform feature implementation when you don't really know what the product does and don't have a big understanding of how it fits in the overall vision of modernizing applications and infrastructure. And so 100 level courses are essentially the idea that, before we jump into 200, where we're going to get into the very hands-on centric approach, we want to have that big picture. So it's like if you're, and we have a lot of people coming to the community who may not have had a background in these technologies. And so if you don't have a lot of familiarity with vSphere, with Tanzu 101, you should always go through, I think, that introductory level presentation before you get too deep into the hands-on, so you can maintain that perspective, really understand the purpose and the vision for what that particular product is intended to do. Okay, so the 101 is that big picture introduction to a new product or technology. And the 201 series is intended to really take those skills and start applying them with hands-on. And one of the big things patterns we recognize in the community that works well for education is, if in a technical role in particular, when you introduce a new concept, you don't want to go too far with allowing that concept to be just something that you're keeping in your head. You want to see how it works in action and experience, with your fingertips on the console, and to actually put those concepts into action and help cement your understanding of them. So the 200 level is where we're going to start to jump into labs. And if you're familiar with the VMware Hands-on Labs program, these courses are actually intended to, in general, be aligned with a VMware hands-on lab environment, where hands-on labs, really robust set of lab environments that have been around produced by VMware for several years now. But they are they do provide a text-based guide. And so while they're a great learning experience, they don't have things like a instructional video with someone explaining the concepts visually before you go in and do the work. And they don't have things like tests to validate your knowledge, certificates of completion. And so we work with the hands-on lab environments to really complement their strengths with some additional strengths that allow us to provide additional educational assets from videos and multimedia learning, tests to validate your knowledge, and the ability to get things like certificates of completion with those to complement that hands-on experience. And with 300 and above, we're going to continue down that path, the next logical progression of depth. So if you say with Visa with Tanzu 201 level content, you go through that hands-on lab, you learn kind of an introductory around the bases with hands-on, and the next logical level past that you'll see is if you go through like the sequence to 301, it's that next step in depth and so on. And we currently don't have any 400 level content. We will have 400 level content at some point, and we'll provide more more specific definitions of what exactly we mean by 400 level as we produce that content. One thing to keep an eye out for if you're interested in continuing with the program is I'm going to be introducing Modern App Skills 201, 301, 401 courses, where in these Modern App Skills courses, we're going to look at skills that will allow you to participate in the community to greater levels. So at first, we're going to look at how to do those basic things, enrollments, taking tests, and get a glimpse at how those skills can now be used to actually, as you're going through the courses, if you see any particular problems, to know how to address those problems from reporting feedback, or to be able to look at a file on a repository and say, hey, this file, this learning, maybe it's a instructional file, right? It has something I'd like to change. And how would I actually go ahead and suggest a change to that? And that's exactly the same skill you'll find that you can use to go to, say, any open source project like Kubernetes. Maybe you can look at the Kubernetes documentation and you see something in the documentation that you think, there's a punctuation or a grammatical error, something that wasn't explained very well. And you'll learn how you could make an easy submission to the Modern Apps Learning program. Again, the same essential process as you would to Kubernetes or other open source communities. When you do those, you get that you get the reputation and enhancements for your resume, where your GitHub profile shows that you're making commitments to these communities. And so we'll look at how those processes work as well. Now, so that's a quick overview of courses and tutorials. Now, tutorials are our tutorial pages are essentially tutorial style blogs. So if you click in on any of these, you'll see they are definitely tutorials. But as I'm sure you're aware, there are many blogs and bloggers out there that provide not just general blogs about talking about random things, but blogs specifically that educate how to implement a particular use case or explore a technical feature. And we have a number of members of the community that are out there writing really wonderful technical blogs that share great information that's relevant to the heart of what we're doing in the Modern Apps Learning program. And really a core goal for Modern Apps Learning is to facilitate the knowledge sharing of any member of the community. We hope that as you learn within the community, we think it's great for everybody to take their learning and to share with others, whether that could be building new content, it could be mentoring somebody, it could be reporting issues, or any number of different things that you can do to help provide a great benefit to the fellow learners in the community. And so one of the things I really love about the tutorial is that these are links to people's individual blogs that have the related content. And so this really does, I think, a great job of providing a valuable asset. And there's a lot of related content from a lot of great bloggers here. Makes it very easy for people to find who may not otherwise have an easy way of finding this specific type of content. And for the members of the community who want to share, we hope this is really a valuable asset to help get your content out there. You've spent time to create a valuable piece of learning information, and we want to help the members of the community to get as much exposure to that content as they can. And so any member of the community, you can see right here at the top of the page, click here to learn how to share. It's a very simple process, just like when you enroll in a course. You actually almost the same process to post a link to your blog here on the tutorial page. And guides are a newer area within the community. We don't have a lot of guides currently. We actually in the past had a very large number of guides. And I think we will here in the near future. We've just been focused on transitioning to the new platform and getting the courses set up. And guides are a great way for us to share something in a knowledge and share and not manage a piece of knowledge together as a community. A great example is the Certified Kubernetes Administrator Study Guide. Just as an example here, where when you go into a guide, you can see here that every member of the community will have the knowledge and the ability to easily click on the edit this page and link here and share their information, knowledge, insights into this jointly community maintained study guide. And so study guides are assets that, unlike tutorials, are jointly managed by members of the community, where we can each work together to share our knowledge and contribute to these joint documents. And we'll maintain these as a community over time. And that's the primary types of content now. One other thing I'll mention, we'll get into this more in a subsequent module, but events. So you can see that on the events page, we have a number of events. And so after this module, we're going to look at the different collaboration tools. So as you go through a course and you explore content, if you have any questions, you'll know how to communicate, how to collaborate with other peers in the community, how to provide feedback or suggestions for improvement, how to reach out for support when you have any issues and questions. And so we will look forward to seeing you in the next module.